Shout out all the teachers out there. I'm going to war for us because I'm in the trenches with y'all.
Yeah.
Yo.
Hello. What up, coworkers? Welcome back to another. Oh, okay. Welcome back to another episode of the We Outside Afterwork podcast. I am Dana.
I could go now.
You could go now.
I'm your boy Aaron. What's up, y'all? What's up? Good afternoon,
guys?
Good morning, good evening. What's up, coworkers?
We are joined today by a guest, another Kane alumni. DP is in the building.
Shout out to them Cougars.
Shout out to DP.
Shout out to them Cougars. Y'all watching. They be watching.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited.
This is going to be fun. He just said this is his first time being on a podcast, so we love that. You decided to come here.
For sure.
Yeah.
Happy.
So usually what we do is an icebreaker game to get started.
Icebreaker.
And to kind of just, start the conversation. So I'm going to go first with mine. So mine says, being humble is only to make less successful people feel more comfortable. So I'm going to throw it to Aaron to say it first, and then we'll go around. What's your answer?
I don't believe in humility. Now, I do believe that it's okay to be humble. Like, I believe I actually operate in a very humble space. But I do feel like a lot of people are forced into humility because it's like you can't celebrate your victory. You can't enjoy your life.
Right.
You can't, be above everyone else. What about this person that worked just as hard? Well, that person ain't win. And I can't be penalized for being a winner in life. And that's what I think humility does, is it penalizes you for truly accomplishing things and being proud of that.
Okay. All right. DP, what you think?
In terms of like humility, I feel like humility is like something that's extremely important, but I feel like it also is like something that provides context. So for example, like me being a teacher, like our job is initially to serve. So I view like humility in terms of like acts of service and things like that.
Okay.
Like, appreciate what you have, understand that everything you have like can be taken away,
right.
like that type of thing. But at the same time, like I feel like often sometimes like people get it confused where it's like you feel like if you do something that's like out of the ordinary, for example, like we're all educated here, so like it's like us graduating, we should be able to like talk like
talk
a better
about
term,
it.
like talk your shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
right.
like I feel like people kind of mix it up between like being humble and being like proud of accomplishment. But you can also get carried away and being like, that's where like being conceited comes in. So I feel like it's like that gray area and like that thin line of just having balance.
Okay, I feel you. I would say for me, I'm going to agree with Aaron where I feel like I don't believe in it only because you should be proud of your accomplishments, like you said, and you should want to show that off. And I know people who don't want to seem too flashy on Instagram if they got their first house, their first car, whatever, that they feel like is like a big accomplishment, just to not make other people feel like they're showing off. And I just think if you have done something in your life that you're proud of, and if it includes like graduating, checking something off your goals list, then yeah, like talk your shit, like you said. What's the problem?
The problem is people can't handle when you get to talk shit and they have to deal with it. I'm just saying, it's the truth.
They got to deal with themselves.
Yeah,
and
like,
the fact that they haven't reached wherever they're trying to go and you did it before them.
It's like the participation trophy era. Like, I don't think that second place deserves anything. Like, I did track.
First, second, and third.
No,
is
no,
cool.
fuck that. Sorry.
Okay.
I did track and field, right?
Yeah.
In track and field, the Olympics and all these accomplished sports and all that stuff. Like Dana said, first, second, and third, you feel accomplished. Man, anytime I got second place, I was pissed off. I'm actually more proud of a third place that I won. You hear what I said? I won.
I think when it's like fourth, fifth, and sixth place, it's like, okay, do these people really deserve a trophy? Like that is a participation.
The only person that deserve it is first.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that is important because when you start adding like the participation, I feel like it takes and dilutes away from like the actual winner.
Right.
So it's like you want everybody to be included, but like now it's like, yo, this person who actually won is like you taking the attention away from them when they in reality deserve that attention. So I understand that.
And I look at it like the Olympic team, the team from 2004 with LeBron, Allen Iverson, and all them guys on it. They got third place, right? We should be proud of them. We should be like, way to bring one home for the United States of America. The expectation is never third place. The expectation is first place. Second place, they would have been just as frustrated. It wouldn't have been no redeemed team and Kobe coming to the show if they would have got second or third.
So you want to just take out all of them, just have first place?
Yes.
Okay. I'm cool with first, second, and third. What about you?
To me, it's like, I feel like it's just like growing up in sports is like first, second, and third is the thing. But when you add like 4, 5, 6, like
that's what I said.
Because me personally, I'm like a natural born. Like I grew up playing sports. I'm a natural born competitor. So it's like if I lose, I know I just either just didn't work as hard enough, or like somebody just had a better day than me.
And it gives you that motivation, right, to work harder and get better.
Exactly. So when I see like somebody getting this like big trophy and then I get the little medal, I just personally don't want it. Like I feel like you disrespecting me by giving me that little medal.
I still got a silver medal in one of my ex-girlfriend's cribs right now. I don't want it. I have nothing to do with it. I don't even want to see it. But enough of my failed athletic career. My hot takes question is sharing locations with a significant other permanently. DP, you think that's appropriate or not?
That's so like for me
that
personally,
was a long sigh.
Nah, because everybody's different. So like me personally, I'm a very like rely on trust type of person, and I feel like if I'm forced to do it, like somebody's like, yo, you need to share me your location or this is not gonna work. Like now I have an issue with that because it's like you're not giving me my own privacy. You're not letting me kind of like move how I want to move. Like if I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna share my location with you, like I feel like that's better and more acceptable. But like now if I feel like it's an ultimatum where if like, because I've been in situations before where it was like that, like, yo, share me your location or we done. Like,
we done.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then, granted, like this is based on like previous instances.
So
or things
I was gonna say,
happened.
did it lead up to that where it was like different things that made the trust kind of dissipate?
For sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was like not getting into all that, but like it's definitely things that kind of like broke the trust. But now I understand getting older, like if you break the trust, it's over with. Like, because now if whether somebody break your trust or you break their trust, and now the relationship is built on like ultimatums and what you can do and what you can do rather than just like genuine intention. Like it's just, you might as well just kind of pack it up at that point. So
facts.
What about you, Dana?
So I don't agree with sharing locations at all, unless it comes down to safety reasons where like your significant other goes somewhere where like they don't feel comfortable. Then it's like, okay, yeah, let me share my location for a couple hours or like the day. But to just keep it on, I think like you said, there's no trust, number one, and it comes off as controlling to me. Because if I really feel like I have to do this, it's like now it's a job. Now I have to do certain other things as well. Like it won't just stop with the locations. Like to me, it's just like a snowball effect of like different things I'm gonna have to just follow along with for your control to make you feel better.
And now you walking on eggshells.
Exactly.
Like, you feel like you can't do nothing.
Right.
But see, this is the problem with too much of a good thing is a bad thing, right? Obviously, sharing a location is important to some degree, right? I have a child, so in case
it's different for you.
That's different.
In case my son gets lost or whatever the case may be, I would love to make sure that I have his location, whether I can find him or his phone.
Well, that's
safety,
sharing
right?
locations with your child.
And I feel like it's also levels. Like, like let's say like y'all first dating. That shouldn't be a conversation. Now, if y'all married, like y'all got a family, like that's different. Like it's different levels. Or if like you said, like if you have a child involved, it's a little bit different.
But I don't think it even matters what the level is, because I don't see the point in sharing our locations. Yeah. Like what do you need to know of my whereabouts for if we have these conversations? It's clearly a deep-rooted trust issue. It's federal. It's clearly deep-rooted trust issues. And me personally, I don't, unless you've involved yourself in some untrustful situations, if you walking into a situation and you have preconceived trust issues, that's already a red flag. Like don't treat me based on the last motherfucker. Like, with all due respect, I don't need that, and I can find somebody else who don't want
I'd
to be all
rather be
up in my-
alone.
That's fair.
Like,
That's
I don't
fair.
want to feel like I'm forced to be with someone under these circumstances.
Control freaks.
Like, if there are stipulations for our relationship, which includes sharing locations, to me, like, that's an automatic red flag. And
Yeah,
I'm just
that's
like,
fair.
I don't even want to
think it's a red flag. I
Anything.
think it's a stop sign. I
It's
think
a
that
stop
shit
and
is
get out of
I
there.
feel like it's like, you know, like even within like relationships, there's boundaries. Like, you're not my parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's kind of like
Yeah.
doing too much. But I also am to tell you, I don't like knock people who do that. I just know me personally. It's just like, you know, like, but it's also a thing where like I feel like me, any situation that I'm in, like I'll explain that ahead of time and explain why. You know?
Yeah, it's the communication, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you gotta break it down. Be like, yo, I don't like this because of this. You know. And then after you have that communication, and if it's still like, you know, that's when
So
you
like,
kind of
well,
like,
yeah,
all right.
still send me your location.
Yeah, like
And
going
I
back to what
still send
said,
you
like-
to the fucking block list. Hell out of here.
Yeah, you gonna block her?
Hell yeah, I'm a blocker. What you want?
Wow. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's people that actually do have my permanent location. Part of it is I didn't know that was the thing, so I went and looked at it one time. I'm like, yo, why the fuck?
For me, it's family. Family has like my permanent location, just because
Yeah.
like I do live alone, so it's like I don't want if something happens, they kind of like can start at one spot.
So I didn't know what I was doing one time, and my homegirl, she relied on me because she wanted to try some like lucid drugs. So she had
What is lucid drugs?
this was like ecstasy or some shit.
Oh.
So she had shared her location with me, but I didn't know I was sharing mine with her.
Okay.
So I looked at this shit like, yo, I didn't know she could still see where I'm at
Yeah,
all the time.
You probably thought you sent the current location.
Yeah,
but
I
you
didn't
probably
know, but
didn't
I was
share.
just trying to be supportive, you know, just in case she was going through some shit.
Yeah.
She was all the way in like Virginia or something. So, but
Like
yeah.
driving?
Nah, she lived there.
Oh, she lived there, okay.
But it was just like,
Because I'm like on ecstasy driving to Virginia.
Yeah, that's wild.
I got cool friends, do cool shit.
That's not cool. That is dangerous. But let's actually change topics and get into DP, right? And your background. So you mentioned you are a teacher, right? Where do
Look
you
at Dana
teach?
with the listening skills.
My shits be like top notch, okay?
Yeah, nah.
So where do you teach?
So I teach at Kip Academy in Newark. It's a
Okay.
charter school in Newark,
Shout
New
out to the
Jersey.
Bricks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love Newark, New Jersey. Got a culture, a lot of love.
Yeah. Did you always want to be a teacher? Because you do have an athletic background, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
obviously, like you said, I had the athletic background, but you know, everybody plays their last game eventually, and mine unfortunately came sooner than I thought it would. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm content with it. But like, as far as being a teacher, I didn't want to be a teacher. And fun fact, I was a terrible student when I was in high school. Like in terms of like just
behavior?
like academics. I wasn't really bad behaviorally.
shit,
I
I
was
was
just a
bad.
play fiend. Played around.
Okay.
Like teacher talking, I'm joking. I can't stand talking. Like
Yeah.
that type of thing. Getting phone calls home all day. But I wasn't like a disrespectful kid.
Okay.
But then, long story short, like I guess like just being around like the football structure, where it's like I learned how much like playing sports and football, and then like transitions to like academics. So like being an athlete, I'm forced to become like a better student, and better student. Like
Yeah. Because you have to keep your grades up, right?
exactly, or
Play.
you ineligible. So like I wasn't in school.
Thank God for track.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't in school to go to school. I was in school because I knew I needed school to play football.
Okay.
But
yeah.
then as I got older and matured, I was like, yo, you know, football coming down to an end. I need to kind of figure out what I'm doing beyond that. You know, so long story short, it ended up leading me into like just starting out as like a summer camp counselor, and then starting out as a coach. And I was like, you know.
So you like tested the waters. You were
Yeah.
like, all right. this
It
is
wasn't really
cool.
like testing the waters. It was just something that honestly God just put me on a path, and then I just was going with the flow. And then I
Gotcha.
realized like, yo, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
So let me see what I can do with it. So that's kind of like how I fell into it.
What grade you teach?
High school. Started out
Oh,
with fourth
shit.
grade though. Started out with fourth grade.
What's that transition like?
From fourth grade to high school, I always like make this little joke about it. Like, you know, it's just a different level of conversation. Like with kids, I'm a very patient person, but like it's only so many ways you can kind of teach like 1 + 1 = 2. And like if you don't understand it after that, like I don't.
You
I
get
personally-
frustrated?
It's just I don't know how to explain it after
Oh,
that. So
okay.
like I think I'm a person that likes to dive deep and is like more in depth. So like I can't explain like simple things, you know. But like
Because you need patience for that,
you
too,
do.
right?
That's why I always commend like elementary school teachers. I'd be like, yo, y'all are really the ones that's in the trenches for real, because it's
Yeah.
like you're teaching like basic skills that like not everybody can do that. And me being in elementary school, I understood that. So I have a different love and compassion for elementary school teachers.
Okay.
But like the transition to high school, for me, it was just better because it's just a different level of conversation you can have. Like you can tell a kid, yo, stop playing with me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
It's
like
more mature, right?
it's supposed to be more mature, but you know, you have some kids that act like they're in elementary school still. But it's more of like a guidance, like a, you know, it's more of like an in-depth conversation where they understand, and they're, even if they don't understand, you can explain, and you kind of can gauge their thought process because they can communicate a little bit more thoroughly.
Right.
So that's why I appreciate it better. But anyway, like I never been in middle school, but anyway, which way is still like a difficult job.
Yeah, being a teacher in general is hard because like you are basically like forming the mind in a sense to like a younger generations, and that takes a lot of skill and a lot of patience. And I never wanted to be like a teacher in a sense, just because I know it does take a lot of patience, and that's not one of my strong points. So kudos to you.
I actually went to school for phys ed when I was at Kane, and coaching, like he said, really helps you just understand like every student is their own unique individual. I would love to give everyone a broad blanket statement type of teaching experience, but Marquise and Joseph and Jennifer, they're all different. So, you know, obviously you take videos and stuff with your classroom showing.
Yeah, you do a lot of videos.
Oh, yeah.
What prompted that? Was it the individual students? Was it something that you just thought, you know, being a technology age would just help them out, help them with their learning experience?
So like me just like it kind of wasn't starting off with me because I'm also a person that's like, I don't like people who do things for clout. So like when I see people post things, like, well, this is my old mindset. I had to kind of outgrow this. I used to be like, nah, you can't do acts of service and then record it. And
the same way.
Then like you just trying to get clout and make it seem like you're doing something, and then you're not. Like for example, like going back to the BLM, like you know how many people I've seen at protests, like go to the protest, take a picture, and then like that was the end
then leave. They didn't.
So something like that.
Stay.
So I always was on some like, nah, like you can't do something and record it and do it for the people. But I kind of like matured out of that, and I understand now we in like a technology era. So I kind of try to use it to my advantage and understand like, you know, I want to be the person that's like impacting the youth, and my students is always on TikToks. Me personally,
they're always on TikToks in school.
Yeah, we had Tania talk about it a couple episodes back. Like,
she's a teacher for what grade?
I think she's in high school also, and she's like, you know, she's willing to jump in on a TikTok every once in a while, but she tries to push back because it's just kind of
it depends on like what's appropriate, right?
Yeah, exactly. So like for me, I personally hate TikTok, but I know my students love TikTok, so I'm gonna meet them where they at. And then like the biggest thing about teaching that anybody will tell you is, well, they should tell you, in my opinion, is relationship building. Think about how many teachers that you had back in the day that you didn't have a relationship with. You did not want to go to their class. You ain't want to learn. You just like whatever.
Miss Rosenhalf could still kiss my ass.
You know the names.
Hell yeah, 5th grade.
Well, I had one. I was actually in 5th grade, and it was a black.
It was something about 5th grade.
It was a black math teacher. It was 6th grade. I'm lying. It was 6th grade, and it was a black math teacher, and he was dope as fuck. And I always look forward to his class because like he just felt more relatable. So like you being a black teacher, like how do you, I guess, relate more to the students, or does it come naturally?
So it comes a little bit. What happens is that I'm also a young teacher too. So the kids, but with being a young teacher, like, and a young black teacher, like you have to like really be strong on your boundaries, because sometimes they view you as like a big brother, and sometimes they view you as that young person that they'll try to like curse around you or try to like think you're not a person of authority. But sometimes you gotta kind of tell them like, yo, we're not friends. Like, so like you gotta constantly remind them that, and you gotta like understand, like, not to say like it's a hierarchy or you're better than anybody, but at this point in time, I know more than you. I went to school, I graduated from school, I'm certified in this area that you're not. So like you have to understand and respect me. But a lot of times people within positions like this, they don't respect the students, and then get mad when the students don't respect them. So everything is about like you having that commonality and like understanding you have a genuine respect for each other.
Speaking of that, I know you've all probably seen like the videos go viral of like students attacking teachers. Like, how do you feel about those kind of videos?
Oh, it's wild. It's wild.
I saw this one video. It was this, and I don't want to put race into it because I don't think it matters with those kind of videos. But this teacher, it seemed like she was like fed up. and she snatched the student's phone. There was like this girl that was texting. Like she literally snatched the phone and like threw it across the room. Like that is excessive. But when you're at a point being a teacher where you need all this patience and stuff and you get fed up, like how do you handle those situations?
So,
like do you take a minute to yourself?
This is the thing, right? So I'll paint a picture for y'all. I don't really judge, like, well, obviously, you as a teacher, you have to be the bigger person. Like, you have to. And that goes back into that first question of humility. Like, you know, you're going to have times where you, like, really, like, yo, just call your dad and tell him to meet me after school. And
you see how
you
I guess come full circle?
You know what I'm saying? Like, like, there's been a couple times where a kid then cursed me out for no reason. But me being me, I'll be like, all right, this kid isn't really cursing me out. It's just like they're projecting whatever they're going to, because you know they're younger, so they don't have like those social cues or like those social like cues that like allow them to be like, yo, I'm wrong, I got to take my minute. They don't have that yet. They're not developed yet. So like there's been times where that has happened, and I'd be like in the back of my mind, because you a person too as a teacher, so you'd be like, you know, us as people, it's okay to be emotional. Right. So you like, nah, like, I gotta get mine back. Call your dad.
But you can't show that.
But you can't show that.
Right?
So going
Not
back
all the time.
You can't. So like going back into that, like, because with being a teacher is constant modeling. Like if you're on your phone, like especially in high school, if you're telling kids not to be on their phone and you pull your phone out, they're gonna be like, well, why are you being on your phone if I can't be on my phone? And so like you have to, like, your modeling gotta be.
Got you.
So you constantly thinking for, like, you're analyzing yourself. At least good teachers do this. You're analyzing yourself and realizing, like, yo, everything I do, they're watching and they're going to use it against me at some point. You know what I'm saying? But, like, going back to, like, those videos of, like, teachers getting beat up or teachers throwing phones, you know. Yeah. There's a teacher shortage. So you're having people that are, like, calling out of work. Now you got somebody that gets usually 3 prep periods. Now they got to cover somebody else's class. At least in the charter, this is my experience. You know, there's been times where I have 3 prep periods off, but since people don't come to work, like, you'll have to, like, fill in for classes. And, you know, it's cool because you're a team player. You got to do that. That's just what you signed up for. But at the same time, it's like now you have deadlines to meet that you can't meet because now you were supposed to work during this period in time, but now you're covering somebody else's class. And then, like, just that social, like, constant, like, being on the grind. Sometimes, like, you as a human, like, you still have emotions.
It's
all
a
that.
lot, right?
You get fed up and you snap.
Yeah,
so,
I have an experience. I was actually one of the recipients of a teacher actually getting fed up once. Like DP said, I wasn't a bad kid. I was a little disruptive. So this was my freshman year in high school. Me and Issa, he was on the podcast. So we actually literally just talked about this earlier today because we was together. We was in algebra class. And I used to always be the kid, man, forget this, I'm disruptive, move my seat, I don't care. But the one day I wasn't disruptive, I actually came back from woodshop class. I had a black tee on. So, you know, you get all the sawdust on you, trying to, you know, get it off your shirt. My teacher said, Aaron, get out. Ooh. So I'm like, damn, I didn't even do nothing this time. So I'm not leaving. So I'm defiant. We had this big old stool, and the chair had to be about like that long. I don't know if y'all can see the cameras, but it was that long. And the teacher said, all right, if you don't leave, I'm gonna call security. I said, okay, call security. I hate
those kids that always be like, call security.
So,
like
that must have been his final straw. And this dude, he was a German teacher too, Mr. Schwartzman. He kicked the shit out of the chair from the bottom of the stool.
Like yours that you were sitting?
That I was sitting in.
Shit.
I stood. I was in the air for like 30 seconds. I swear to God.
What's the name again?
Mr. Schwartzman.
Yeah, we had to get it in there.
But what's crazy is because I'm a goofball. I was a fucking goofball in high school. So on my way to the ground, I'm laughing. I'm thinking this shit is hilarious. I'm like, oh, you done fucked up now, Mrs. Schwartzman. So I'll go to the office thinking I'm about to tell on him. I done got a Saturday detention, and we done spoke about Saturday detention. I ain't go. End up getting suspended for it and everything. My grandmother went to the school. She caused a commotion as she should have. I got assaulted by a teacher. He ended up passing me. That was our compromise, you know.
If you give me an A, was it an A?
Nah, I got a 0.5 in the class.
Oh, but that's passing, I'm guessing.
He wanted to keep his job.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mrs. Schwartzman. I was wrong. You know, I take the high road. Humility, you feel me?
Yeah.
I had a couple stories like that myself.
Like as a student?
Yeah, like I was like,
because you be pushing buttons.
You
don't do it on
like
purpose.
You don't do it on purpose.
I just played around a lot. Like, you know, the thing is, like, people don't realize, like, a high school kid has especially a boy, like you going through all these hormonal changes, like you just have a lot of energy. So sometimes you just genuinely cannot control yourself, like with your outbursts. You just running, jumping around because you don't know what to do with that energy.
Yeah.
So like,
do some work.
We can't even
or
say
not.
shit.
That's crazy.
Call my mom, okay. No one damn well.
See, I was never like that in high school. Like I kind of just did my work and
had your glasses on, just.
I didn't wear glasses.
You was the good student?
No, so I had great grades. So my grades were like A's and B's, but like I would still like talk to my friends and you know like not do too much, but do enough.
She was boring.
I was the student that be playing around on campus and be like, "Yo, let me see." I'd have been like, "Yo, let me see your paper real quick."
I was that.
Did you give
person.
the paper or did you not?
No, I would ask people for their homework.
Oh,
and whatnot. Yeah, I remember. And this was in college, so it don't matter at this point. But I was in, I think it was like some algebra class at Keene. And I literally did not know we had an exam that day. So
you cheated?
Listen, I had a good friend. It was this it was a Spanish boy. I think his name was like Jesus or something.
You don't even know. He's a good friend.
I didn't find out his name until after the class.
Do you know his name? You just said you think
we weren't good friends. Like I had a friend in the class. But he sat in front of me and I just remember like tapping him. And then he just gave me the paper and just slid it back with his answers. I was like, yo, I love that.
So I used to do the same thing because I do test quick. And I always get good grades, so I did test quick. Yeah. My cousin Justin was like, yo, slide me the test. So I'm with it, but they moving slow. Like, how long I'm going to have the test on the floor?
Exactly.
Like, yo, hurry up.
Y'all got caught?
No, because I took the test back.
You know how, like, you be taking a test and then you know the teacher, you and the teacher make eye contact?
Yes, and then you got to, like, act like you...
You just act like you thinking...
You thinking.
I used to be like this. Like,
I used to be like, just
then you
look
take the pencil,
down.
tap it right here.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I'm cheating right now. I hope they didn't catch.
But see, I had to stop.
I think they knew.
I had to stop, though, because I was an athlete, especially when I got to college. You know, you didn't want to get in trouble as an athlete because then the coach going to have you running laps and stuff. So what did you as an athlete take into the classroom?
Oh, so me as a high school student and me as a college student, two different people.
Okay.
Because my senior year in high school, I graduated with like a 2.1. There's people coming to the practices. They'd be like, yo, we like him. He's athletic. And then they see my transcript, and then they're like, oh, yeah, nah, we can't do nothing for him. And then my SAT scores were terrible.
Okay.
You know, so, like, I had to, like go to the community college route first, which is nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
But I got humbled quick, and then I realized, like, senior year, all my friends signing to their school, signing day, and then I'm like, at that time, I didn't even have, like, no...
Like, now it's hitting you, like,
it was at this moment he knew. Literally. I'm like, yo, damn, I wasted so much time, and, like, I knew I messed up. So then I was like, all right, I got to try to lock back in. So I ended up going to community college for a year, locked in, got, like, a 3.0, transferred out, ended up going to King. And then I realized, like, this is my biggest thing. If I go away to college, you know how many people go away to college and then come back home, and then everybody was like, yeah, he went away and came back and failed and da-da-da. I just didn't want to hear that noise. So I was like, I'm going to stay here, whatever it takes.
Okay.
Like, whatever it takes for me to do, I'm going to stay here.
Can I give a quick interruption?
Yeah.
Did you experience any of that kind of stuff, like growing up with others? Because I know, like that, oh, he going to come back, he going to fail. What you think you better than that?
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad I became a teacher because I went through some educational experiences that were, like bad. Like, I grew up in a failing school district. I love where I'm from, though. Like, don't get it twisted. Like, our school culture was good, but like just growing up, I genuinely at times, like, you know, I struggled at tests. Like, I didn't have certain teachers who, like, might cater to, like, my teaching style. And then on top of that, you're dealing with kids, like, you feel like might be smarter than you. Because education is just all confidence.
Yeah, I hate the standardized testing. That was never a strong point for me, especially with the SATs. Because for me, whenever I get a Scantron, I instantly get anxiety. Because I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't fucking learn like this. So I was one of those kids where, like, I knew my shit, but once I got to, like, test taking and standardized testing and all of that, like, it just never translated for me.
And the problem with standardized testing is they're trying to trick you.
Yes.
It's like...
It'll be the same question, but, like, reworded differently.
And the answers is too simple.
The problem with standardized testing that people don't realize, and I see it now being a teacher, is, like, you don't really, like, when you're preparing for those tests, you don't really get you're not learning information. You're learning how to take the test.
How to take the test.
My school was like on some like, we didn't really like, if you go to private schools or if you go to schools that was like in well-off communities and like where their passing rate is high, they have like programs and like things that have like PSATs and
like to prepare you.
They like are preparing for that. And now, like, granted, like we had like a PSAT, but it was
no one took it serious because my school had it too.
Because we weren't told how serious it was.
Exactly.
So it was just like people some teachers, not all teachers, some teachers was just there, like, you know, they can't control the class because like I went in an urban school, so, you know, us being like Black, brown, Spanish, Hispanic, like, you know, like we had white teachers. Like, it's not saying white teachers can't teach us, but some teachers we just didn't feel like we could relate to.
Yeah, you can't relate.
So you in there turning up, like, and just not really paying, not taking them serious, not taking anybody serious, and you kind of pay for it. But these other schools, they're getting like the ability to practice these tests, learning these competencies, learning these skills, and then like they get to pass these tests. But honestly, the root of the problem is I feel like a lot of times, like those like test taking, like those standardized tests are like gatekeeps, like to kind of keep certain like communities.
I could see that
progressive
keep
and certain,
them like in their circle of poverty and like lack of education.
Because to me, honestly, like those tests don't really determine whether you're smart or not.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just said I always struggled with it, and I knew the material. It was just like
you know the material.
Yeah, but just being in a classroom where it's like no talking, no nothing, like everything just
like
felt so forced, intense. I'm like, shit, if I don't get this right, I can't go to college.
But I'm gonna say allegedly here, it was discussed that standardized tests and IQ tests have been shown to be intellectually dishonest and quite frankly racial, right? Especially when the questions are geared to things that a Black kid might not relate to in a general sense, right? So I personally think, I don't know what the solution is. I'm not in that field to know like what as a Black man I can do to, you know, relate to the students more. But obviously you're a Black man, you're a teacher, you're making a considerable impact on the kids. What does you being a Black man in those classrooms mean to those kids?
I think me being a Black man in like being a Black man specifically in the classroom, especially like the dominating like person in like education is like white women.
I was
so
just
like
about to say that.
Being like a Black man, like it's like a different vibe. I love everything about it because it's like, you know, it's not something you see. Like I can count on one hand how many Black male teachers I had in my entire life. Like, and I know specifically what grade. Mr. Klausmeyer, 6th grade, everybody thought he was mad cool. Then you had like my basketball coaches, but they weren't like teachers. They were like, you know, you have like security, paras, things like that.
Okay.
So like being a teacher and being able to like impact and let like my students know, like I do certain things on purpose too. Like when I was walking around, like when I walk around campus, I always keep I said campus, but I walk around like my school building, I always have a book.
Okay.
Like
to kind of, because you just said they mimic you, right?
Yeah, like I always have a book.
So to show them that like just be prepared or something. Okay.
Yeah, so like it's deeper than that because how many like especially working in the urban community, it's like, yo, how many Black young men can say, yo, I look up and see a Black man with a book in his hand and a suit on just walking around. Whether I'm reading that book
it's
or
just
not,
the visual of it.
It's the visual
optics.
It's the model. Like,
yeah, it's like a mindset.
There's been times I walked around with a book and I ain't read the book the whole week. Now, granted, I do read a lot, but I'm saying like I haven't touched the book for the whole week. But I'm just walking around with it. But you want them to see that,
like an educated Black man who like is well put together and he reads.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
so like
thinking.
It's one of those things where you just like, you know, like, all right, I'm modeling that I'm always looking for knowledge, always looking for knowledge, always looking for knowledge. And that's something that's special to me because it's just like, yo, as a Black male, we don't like just the stigma that we have in this country, like just how we're viewed and how Black women are viewed, like us being in schools to kind of build the community. And
it starts at like being like teaching children, right?
Exactly.
Like teaching students at a young age.
One of my favorite quotes, Frederick Douglass, is
you heard of Frederick Douglass?
Yeah, it's the same one. Watch
it's easy to build stronger children than to repair broken men.
Okay, that's different.
You know what I'm saying? And then my second one is if there's no struggle, there's no progress.
There we go.
You know what I'm saying?
That's his. I literally had to write that on an article.
Like,
that's funny.
Like, but that quote is like, yo, you know, like you have to understand. Like being an educator, I notice now, like, you know, I could have probably went into tech, like no knock on anybody else industry. Like I could have probably went into tech, made way more money than I'm making now. Went into law, make way more money than I'm making now. But it's like I understand like the importance of the role that I have, and I know I'm not going to be a teacher forever. But while I'm a teacher, I'm going to be able to provide this source of impact.
Like be the best teacher you can.
Exactly,
right?
Because think about it: doctors, lawyers, engineers, they all had teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like. The educators taught them the basic skills before they went on to their next facet of their life and learned more of like whatever they wanted to, their concentration. So because of their teachers, everybody's gonna have one at least one that inspired them and like kind of like told them like, yo, I believe I can do this because of so and so. So like my angle is more of like a, you know, I have a lot of plans for myself, but you know, if I can't do what I'm gonna do, at least I can like inspire somebody else to go further than me. So like,
speaking of inspiring, because I do want to just mention this. Recently I saw on your Instagram, I think it was like right before prom or like prom season, where you brought
graduation.
and you brought like barbers to come to the school and cut the high school students' hair. Like I thought that was super dope, because I'm like, damn, like how many of them just didn't have either the extra funds or like knew someone to like cut their hair in a way they would like it for graduation? So
you know, like a lot of them, there's been kids like, so just to give you context, like shout out Kavon Walton, Marv Brody, Tailored, and Marv the Barber, like for like coming in to do that. They were able to cut like 35 kids' hair right before graduation for free. And then I just basically turned my classroom into like a barbershop, gave it that barbershop feel. We had games going, music going. And then while they were cutting, they're talking about the importance of grooming. You already know, like going to the barbershop, that's like a male therapy session. Like as a future therapist, like I understand that's not actual therapy, but like going to the barbershop, you get to hear so many stories. It's just like an important part of like a black male. Like it's like your break from everything. So I know that a lot of our students, like, you know, there's some kids in there that haven't been able to get haircuts for like 6-7 months for whatever reason. And you know, kids are mean. So they walk
kids
around
are
like,
assholes.
Peasy, like, but, you know, you're coming at somebody, but you don't know if they can afford to get a haircut or not. So I had an idea of like, you know, let me use my resources in these terms. Like these two, one of us is my frat brother, and then the other one is I grew up with him. And they're both my professional barbers, like that I go to consistently. So I was like, talk to them. I was like, you have a great idea for some students. Like it'll be a good initiative to get them going. So like just that whole thing, like the experience, like was very emotional and very like genuine and very like compassionate for me, because I'm just like, yo, like seeing their faces and seeing like them react to it was like they were just so happy. And then we in there, you got all like, it was like all the black male teachers, all the black women teachers, and all other, the principal pulled up. We in there recording them, gassing them. I was like, you sharp, my boy, da-da-da. And they in there smiling like, you feel me? I ain't gonna lie, I dropped a tear after that.
That's
like,
dope. Can we get a bomb drop for that? Like, that is amazing. We love that.
And the one thing that I really, really love about that is that black male experience, right? One of the things that for me growing up was I never knew how to tie a tie. Right?
I'm gonna get into that too.
So it's like my oldest brother, he was that influential black male for me to just pull me aside, do it for me, show me. It was like the nurturing you needed from a man.
Facts.
Right?
Facts.
That with all due respect to women, you just can't give me.
It's not the same.
Yeah, you just can't give me. And just like for a woman to a young girl, you just can't always give that need. Sometimes as a black man, we need to see y'all. So for me, if your students need anything moving forward in the future, whether it's like a resume building class or anything like that I could help with, I'm always a resource. I tell kids all the time, even if I work with them, I work in a retail management position. I got 16, 17, 18-year-olds, college kids coming by. They might not want to be here forever. They got ambitions. I'm a resource, especially to the young black kids. I am a resource. Like when we see teachers, especially teachers, I make sure I thank y'all because y'all don't get enough praise. We already know the money ain't
you don't get enough pay. We know.
So it's like the smallest things is gonna just help y'all keep going, because we need y'all and we appreciate you. So
shout out to,
drop another bomb for you know,
black
teachers.
I'm definitely gonna keep that in mind too.
Definitely. Have you anytime.
I also run like the peer, like, so me and my homie like started like a peer mentorship group at our school. It's called He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother. Now I'm like, the context behind it is that like I'm an alpha, so like we have a concept where it's like he ain't heavy, he's my brother, like meaning like if your brother has a burden, you help them carry it. So like I started like the peer mentorship program at my school, basically dedicating that to like, you know, y'all being a bunch, it's like a youth boys group where we help them understand things of like brotherhood, getting them to like understand like it's cool to help somebody, or compliment somebody. Like our kids, for whatever reason, and I think it's trauma, but like whatever reason, like if you say this, their favorite thing to say. Like if you give them a compliment, or say if one student A gives student B a compliment, they'd be like, "Oh, you dick riding." I'm like, yo, because he said you dress nice, or he said that you look
it's
good,
usually
or some
projection
way.
But
too,
nah,
right?
it's a lot on Twitter. A lot of these kids, they get that from the internet.
You know what I'm saying?
internet?
I don't understand that. So me and my other boy that I grew up with, he's my frat brother as well, Ivan. We started this program in our school to let them know, like, yo, y'all really just hating on each other, and y'all gonna continue to push each other back, because if you can't, like, they think it's weird to show each other love. So we're just basically building this program to cater to that and give them the opportunity to experience, like, bring them to these like new views. And then like on top of that, like, you know, we have our resources outside of the school. So I have had like black lawyers that's from Newark come in to talk to them. I've had like entrepreneurs come in and
just to show them like,
just to show them like, yo, you can do this, and they all look like you. You know what I'm saying? So like like we did an event like how to tie a tie, because I grew up with a single mother, so like I can really resonate what you said. Like, you know, like my mother did everything she needed to do, had to raise 2 boys, work 3 jobs, all that, and like, you know, she did what she could, but she even explained to me herself, like, you know, there's some things I can't teach you. You need to like,
you need a man,
and you don't know it until that moment comes. It's like, damn, she really can't teach me.
And then one day I was getting dressed for like prom or something, like, or something, and I'm just like, damn, bro, I don't know how to tie a tie. Like, I don't know how to do this. So YouTube. But now I'm like, you know, I understand a lot of, and going back to the relatable question, a lot of our boys in the building, they experience what I experienced growing up. So like being able to kind of like resonate with them causes me to be able to kind of like have that relationship, and then now when it's time to learn, I'm able to teach them better, because they know I'm not going to be in there. It's like that respect that we have of each other. And another misconception about teaching is that like people think an educator is somebody who just talks and educates all day. Without them being able to teach me how to be a better educator, I wouldn't be able to do half the things I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So like I learned from them probably more than they learned from me, because I have 144 students, 5 classes. Each section has 30 kids.
Damn, that's
so
a lot
like
of kids.
it's like in each section I have to teach differently.
To work on too.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
Jesus.
And I love that I went to Kane first before I went to St. Peter's. Even though both school structures had very similar classroom sizes, having a smaller classroom so I can actually have a relationship and conversation with the teacher, that's another detriment to our inner city schools. It's just like, I'm stuffing 30 kids in a classroom expecting this one teacher or a para to help them out. It's like, it's hard.
Yeah, it's tough.
It
really
is. It
tough.
definitely is. Okay, so yeah, shout out to the teachers though. Like, y'all are definitely appreciated and well needed, especially the minority teachers.
Shout out all the teachers out there. I'm going to war for us, because I'm in the trenches with y'all.
Yeah, we got DP in the trenches. But just to like switch gears, we are recording on Juneteenth today. We all got on green, which is crazy. I feel
Black,
like this
red,
is like
green,
black
for the
colors.
red for the blood, green for the land.
Right. So I do want to just talk a little bit about Juneteenth, the meeting, what it represents, and like things you can do for the holiday, right? Even though I worked today. Anyway, so Juneteenth is now a federal holiday in the U.S., so it basically commemorates You fucking me up. I can read, okay? Let me start over. So it commemorates the emancipation of enslaved Black Americans. It is celebrated on the anniversary of the order by Major General Gordon Granger proclaiming freedom for enslaved people in Texas on June 19th, 1865. All right, so for you guys,
Yes, queen.
how do you celebrate Juneteenth?
So,
because you said you were like, what did you do this weekend?
Oh, so I was in like the city for the most part, just going to like black festivals,
Okay.
cookouts, parties, you know.
Love that.
Things like that. I'm actually really sad like the Juneteenth cookout got canceled.
Mm-hmm. The one in
Yeah.
Like I was gonna
go to that. That was
but
gonna be my first
I was
one.
kind of upset about that. So like I just made different plans and went to the city. But shout out to them too because they do a lot of work. Like they had a lot of stuff going on and they give like $500 initiatives to get back to the
We
community.
gotta
So
get
shout
them
out
on
to
the
them.
podcast. Do
Yeah.
you know them?
Nah, I don't know them personally.
Who made
Okay.
Baraka and all?
Nah, the people who run the Juneteenth cookout.
In North?
Yeah.
Okay, I
I think it's like through Brown Mill, isn't it?
I
Shout
don't
out Brown
know.
Mill too.
But yeah, I follow them and yeah, we can get them on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't know them
Great.
personally, but I see what you're doing. That's all love. But like I went to the city, so like just being out like block parties, cookouts, and just seeing everybody that's just black out there having a good time. I look at it as like this is our 4th of July.
Yeah.
4th of July.
Our
like,
independence.
You know? Like I don't celebrate 4th of July personally. I grew up celebrating
Like
it.
I was gonna say ever.
Yeah, no. I grew up celebrating it, but then obviously when I got enlightened, like in like going to college and learning certain things, you realize what it really is, and like we're still enslaved during that time. So
Right.
like, nah, I can't support that. But I will come get a plate. Like I don't know, maybe that's like
You're going to the
contradictory.
cookout.
But you know, I just be like, let me come get a plate.
That still
But
counts.
I ain't wearing no red, blue, white, and blue.
Yeah, no, you can't wear the colors.
Yeah, like I'm
You
not
cannot
out
wear the
there. Like
colors.
yeah, like last 4th of July.
America.
Yeah. Last 4th of July, for example, like everybody was going to the beach. I just went to go play basketball. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? But like
I don't know what I did.
this holiday is so important because like it finally kind of gives us flowers in a way, but at the same time it's like, yeah, cool, y'all gave us a holiday, but like we still need like reparations.
Yeah, we still did a lot of
You know what I'm
shit
saying?
to
Like,
get
you know, like it's
free.
cool to have a day off of work, but
Yeah.
it's like
There's
What
still a
is
lot
it?
of work that needs to be done.
like the government, like they have certain things they do to be like, all right, we're gonna give you
To pacify us
you know what I'm
for
saying?
a
We're
certain
gonna give
amount
you
of
a
time.
black president.
Yeah.
Now be quiet. We're gonna give you y'all holiday. Now be quiet. And then there's obviously a whole bunch. We're gonna give y'all the ability to come to school with us. Now be quiet. So like we gotta just continue to make noise after this. But like, you know, like it's cool. Like it's a step in the right direction. Like,
Yeah, but it's
ultimately.
a very slow process.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
How you feel about it, Aaron?
I got mixed feelings because obviously I'm very proud of my ancestors and, you know, being removed from those shackles that we should have never been in to begin with. But I have a problem with the term slavery. Like, I don't believe that my people were slaves. I don't use that term. I don't call black people slaves ever. I actually wrote this long poem. I would read it, but I don't want to struggle like Dana.
I'm stuck on like you don't believe in slavery.
Nah, I don't believe that.
What do you mean?
I don't
What does
believe
that
in
mean?
that
you got
term.
it. I want to hear it.
I don't believe in that term. I feel like our people were not
Indentured servitude?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Our people were human beings,
Right.
right? And they were captured and they were stolen.
Yeah.
You know, and they need to be, you know, stop trying to pacify us and tell
Okay.
us a different type of terminology for what it really was.
I get you.
Um,
So you feel like the word slaves
Yeah, I
kind of
don't
like
use it.
makes
I
it
will never refer to my
like it's not
ancestors
as bad
a
as
slave.
what it was.
Yeah. So what do you where do you?
I just call them my ancestors.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't-
like that is understandable. Like
So we celebrate the freedom of our people,
Yeah.
and it's like, in all honesty, we were always free. Like, who said that we weren't free? Like, because y'all said I wasn't free. Now, obviously, my safety was in question, my livelihood, my family,
Well,
and
they
different
were
things.
they were
think-
literally chained and being
So
tortured.
I think
so
what he's basically saying is like he's not calling his people, like he's not going to refer to our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors as slaves. He's going to refer to them as people who were enslaved.
Exactly.
You know, so like obviously we were enslaved. And,
okay.
like, we
Yeah,
were
because I just want
forced
to make
do
sure
things.
like that
But
was
like
actually
he's
what was
saying,
going
like
on.
the title of us being slaves.
Yeah,
Like, no.
because then
That's
it
what he's
kind of like makes us feel like we came from that. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
and I
Like
don't
we still
like
had
that.
a past prior to
Yeah.
that point in
So
time.
We
I
are
can
not
dig
400
that.
years.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
we
Yeah.
are-
Now that you broke it down, like it makes
like
sense.
slavery versus enslavement.
I wrote an entire poem.
Where's
to
the poem?
describe- I actually
Alright.
posted it on Facebook.
Okay.
It's really long, so I'm not gonna read it. Maybe I'll record it and do some kind of like video thing I did, like the one I did last June, like 2 Juneteenths ago. But I actually do appreciate the holiday because it allows black people to really like focus on this is us.
Mm-hmm.
What white people do for 4th of July, y'all good. What do y'all do for Juneteenth? What you talking about? Where y'all kente cloths and y'all gonna be performative?
I don't think they do anything.
They
kind of like
what is
just,
they to do?
That's what I'm saying.
You know
like
they
kind of just let it.
You know what white people should do?
Go
instead of having a day off of work. Why don't y'all go to work for free? That's what y'all had us do.
That's never happening in
exactly.
this country.
So don't give me no bullshit ass holiday to make me feel good about the fact that y'all were free. It wasn't even the actual date of the end of the Civil War. Like it's a lot of bullshit behind it. Some random nigga came to Texas and said, "Oh, y'all enslaved, y'all free now."
But
like,
Texas was the last state to release slaves because they didn't want to. Like they literally.
But you also think of the context of the time. It wasn't like now where you could be like, "Yo,
we free now."
You gotta let your slaves go, or like, yo, like I seen on the on the Instagram.
Yeah, like the communication wasn't the
communication
same, but they were still able to communicate with like other things.
But think about it. Though,
but when it came to slavery, now we can't communicate that you guys are no longer working for me. Like what?
In their sense, it's like in their like literal sense at the time, they're like, yo, this is my property. So you're telling me that I have to release this. Now this is where it really gets like foul, because it's like, yo, like you really like you have people who probably like would like tell them like, yo, because the Civil War like
it separated the Union and the Confederates.
The Union and Confederates. So I guarantee like the Confederates at that time was like on some like, yo, this is what's going on, but we can't let them find out this is what's going on.
Yeah,
so this is alleged. This is what I heard. I don't know if it's factual, so I'm gonna just tell you what I heard. That basically after slavery was abolished, there was laws put in place where like, if you work this land,
Jim Crow law,
you gotta pay a certain amount of money. If you don't work this land, you have to you can't leave the land or you're going to get put in jail. So it was like, so it's slavery, but it's just I'm going to keep you.
That's what like parole is now. Like like slavery like really just conformed into Jim Crow, then became segregation,
and then
then became mass incarceration. Like that's how it really works. So like there was times like for example when slavery was abolished, like there was things called like, you got to read this book. It's called New Jim Crow. Book is the OD, explains everything. Okay. And how it explains like the trajectory of how they kind of just disguised what they were doing back then and kind of had to like, it's like your phone, like Apple, right? It's like you have like an update for your phone and it's kind of like giving you the same thing, but it just look a little different. But every phone we get is the same phone.
That's a good analogy.
You know what I'm saying? So like, with that being said, they're giving us a new system, they're giving us a new update, but it's just working the same way.
Yeah, there's a lot of things behind the scenes, like within the government, that hasn't actually changed.
You feel me?
To where like we are actually equal.
But they gotta make it look like we progressing.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, for example, like in these times, like slavery was abolished, and like now they have these things called vagrants laws, where if you don't find, like you're a homeless person and you don't find a place to live, how are we going to find somewhere to live when all white people got all the land? If you don't find a place to live within this certain amount of time, we have to like arrest you, imprison you, and now you're back to like doing the work of a slavery. But you're not a slave, you're just a prisoner. Yeah, like that's how it works.
And I also think that they try to manipulate terminologies.
For sure.
Right? So
that's what the book is about. Like it tells you like all like the manipulated terms and like the consistency and how they're like really meaning the same things. It's just everything is like how it's written
different.
There's loopholes to it.
So Dana said earlier, like, what do you think they're indentured servants? So if I'm a white slave owner, I could say, I gave you
that's
shelter.
How they feel.
I gave you food. I gave you rations. I gave you clothing. Is that not compensation?
That's actually why like the United States still doesn't want to acknowledge slavery was a thing, because there were so many people that got tortured and families ripped apart, and it was literally like massive like killings and stuff going on back then. But like it was just so bad to where like, they don't want to teach that in schools, or like they want to like kind of erase it or act like it wasn't as bad as it truly was, so that they don't acknowledge it, which is fucking crazy.
It took me to like my second year in college to find out that we was one time viewed as 3/5 of a person.
Yeah.
Like
not even a fucking
like we wasn't even considered. What is 3/5 of a person?
Well, if you want the historical context, because we touched on that last episode, I'm gonna give y'all another little nugget.
That shit pissed me off. I don't want to talk about it.
No. We got to talk about the 3/5 compromise. Was actually the liberal perspective, right? Because the Southerners were saying, okay, if a slave is counted as a human, then so should my cow, right? Because it's basically the slave is my labor.
Yeah.
The slave is not a human for me. So in order to keep political seats, the Northerners figured, okay, I don't want to not treat these people as actual humans. How about we look at it as they are 3/5 of a person?
Yeah.
So this way you don't have an overpopulated South and y'all control the union.
And then they came up with another concept of like the whole one drop rule thing, where like, you know, they would use people's, like, for example, say if you had your grandparents, if one of them was black, you was considered to be black.
Yeah, and they did that because black people didn't
like
have
race is a construct though. That's what people don't realize. You know, there always wasn't racism. Like, you know, then you gotta read up. I'm not gonna get long winded in talking about it, but like, is this thing called Bacon's Rebellion? You gotta read that. Read the Willie Lynch letters. Read that. Like, it's kind of like a system. Basically, there was a point in time where like black people and black enslaved people and indentured servants, which were like the white people, they realized like, yo, like, these people are just operating. It was like the elitists versus the broke. Yeah. So like these people are like, yo.
That's literally our society.
That's what I'm saying. So like so there was like this point where the elitists versus the broke. It was no race. It was none of that. And then you have like black and white people, Asian people, whoever. This is back when like they were looking at like the Native Americans were like, that's who they mean. We got to get them up out of here. That was the mindset. So there was really no racism yet in terms of like black versus white type thing. So then you have like the indentured servants and the enslaved Africans. Like they really realized like, yo, if we work together, we'll be able to overthrow them. So that's where Bacon's Rebellion comes into hand. And then the white elitists realized like, yo, if they start working together and realize they're on the same page, this is going to be problematic for us. So let's come up with something that views them different than each other.
So they can now like go against each other.
But it's all about numbers, right?
Exactly.
The Democrats and the Republicans, even today, is all about the numbers. How can I make this person on this side come to my side? We'll go all the way back to the Missouri Compromise, right? Now, I know we're getting a little deep in some history, but this is black history.
I mean, it's rightfully so. Juneteenth.
Like, the Missouri Compromise was to ensure that the balance of power in the congressional seats in like the 1800s. This is like if I'm not mistaken, one of the trigger warnings to the Civil War, because now we got another slave state and non-slave state in the Union, which is unbalancing the power. That's what got Lincoln to become president, right? So it's like, even today, we're looking at Make America Great Again. We're looking at Biden trying to bring hot sauce. Or was that Hillary? Bring hot sauce to the Breakfast Club.
I call Biden, my bad, sidebar, I call him Not Low Joe. Because he be doing things that seem like it's for black people, but he's not low. Like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But
he's playing mind games. It's all like trick.
Not Low Joe, I know what you're doing.
Oh, because he's watching this.
But
maybe you never know.
Not Low Joe.
But we don't want to be low this summer either, right? So obviously we try to be outside this summer in whatever way that you believe outside is to be. So DP, when we say you're gonna be outside this summer, what do that mean for you?
Oh, outside. First of all, I'm a teacher, so I've been working hard for like 10 months. This is my month and a half off. So my goal this summer outside. Well, I was outside this weekend. We popped the summer off. I was having a great time, great fans, great people, all black and surround me. But this summer, my version of outside is to continue to do those things, have fun, party, let loose, whatever. But I really want to learn a new skill. Like, that's my thing.
Yes.
Like, so I'm like, all right, how can I get a side hustle or something that's just fun to do? So
I
remember last summer I was just doing a bunch of stuff with myself. Like, I was going to the beach by myself. I learned that I don't really like the beach. I already knew I didn't like the beach, but I'm like, let me go to the beach by myself one day.
The beach is trash.
Try to read out there. I got somebody blasting their speaker next to me. I'm like, I can't read it. Now I got sand in my book. I'm just mad. So I'm like, I packed my stuff up, go. All right. But I trial and error. I didn't like it. Then I went to the movies by myself. Then I realized, I can do this.
I like doing that. Yeah, that's like my shit.
I be really going to the movies by myself now. Like, this is my vibe. Then just finding new things to do. Reading more, stuff like that. But like this summer, I want to kind of like, I love music, so I want to kind of like try to like learn how to DJ a little bit or something.
DJ, okay.
Or like I bought a camera a couple years ago. I'm gonna try to learn how to use it this summer. I'll go back to work till August.
Usually with a camera, it's this button.
I mean, like, I'm trying to get nice with it because I got some homies, like a lot of my homies, like they're like actually like editors and like photographers. They do shoots, all that.
So I kind of want to teach you how to do it.
But it's a time thing, like, you know, and being a teacher, I don't have time. So like now that I have some time, I want to kind of like try something.
Try something new.
Oh, and travel too. Travel.
Yes.
Speaking of traveling, be outside a little bit, traveling with the family. Wildwood is like my favorite place in the whole world. It
I've
ain't
been there years.
it ain't the fanciest place. It ain't the most sparkly place in the world, but it's family.
Not the places, the
It's
people.
fun.
Yeah,
It's fun though.
I just spent Juneteenth with my family, and that's just what I want to be around. And you know that Wildwood, it just signifies family for me. So that's outside for me. What about you, Dana?
I've said this on other episodes, but speaking of a new skill, like I'm learning the stock market.
Tough.
Just because like I was into it in 2020, like when we were in lockdown, that was like one of the things I got into.
It, like
Get your bread.
Yeah. So like now I'm really like tapping into the fundamentals and taking a course. So that's what my summer is so far.
Yeah,
And then the rest of the
D-money.
summer, I just hope to be making some money from
The
it.
money.
And the rest of the summer,
The money.
we hope to,
building.
and the rest of the summer, we trying to get more of you wonderful people onto the podcast.
Yes.
Make sure y'all hit up our Gmail at woawpod@gmail.com. So this way y'all can join these seats, have insightful conversations.
Yeah, come on a podcast.
We love
Yeah.
to have.
We have fun.
Yeah, this was mad fun though.
Was
if I have
it?
to add, like this
Yeah.
really was fun.
It was like fast, right?
Us,
You know what I'm saying? Nah, it was good vibes. Y'all definitely good vibes.
Oh,
And like for
thank
this
you.
being my first time ever talking to you, like I feel like we have a lot in common. Like so, like it's cool.
I mean,
Like,
everybody is me, y'all. I be telling y'all it's me. Nah,
but like
It's
me and Dana
us.
also have a lot in common
No,
too.
no, no,
So
Yeah.
shout out to her for inviting me.
Yeah.
But
and shout out to y'all for being part of our co-workers. You know, we appreciate
Oh,
every
we
last
call
one
our
of y'all.
watchers coworkers.
the coworkers?
Yeah.
what's up, y'all? Hope
Yeah.
y'all not at work on Juneteenth.
I was. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, this is the end of the episode. And any last words, DP?
Nah, just
Shout out to the teachers.
black love is important.
Black love.
And shout out to Aaron and Dana for like doing something positive, creating an outlet of expression for people to come on to talk about their experiences and having fun while doing it. Because a lot of times you got people be doing this, but it be all serious. Like,
Yeah.
So I like it's a little free.
It's
And we had a little serious today,
You know
but
what
it
I'm
was even fun, you know,
saying?
breaking
Yeah.
down that serious.
We had to do that.
You gotta
though.
have like the serious
Yeah.
sandwich where you play around and get serious, then play
Yeah.
around again.
It's a balance.
I'm saying.
Definitely.
But with that being said,
We outside and we out.